Guys, Euphoria is like that crazy drunk aunt that you only see at weddings or funerals or other celebratory milestones, and you never know what you're gonna get with her. A crazy, fun gal pal to drink with, or a diabolical demon that's gonna tell everyone that you slept with your high school bully that one year that you came home for the holidays and you were feeling really sad about your life and you thought that it would be cosmic karma to fuck the person that made you hate life in high school, only for you to realize you've become your mother. Euphoria is like a box of chocolates, if every chocolate was a dildo covered in chocolate. And the more we go into the season, the more I'm convinced that Sam Levinson wants to be Cassie, or humiliate her. Or, a third alternative, he wants to be Cassie and then be humiliated. A 2-in-1. Well, yeah. The episode pays homage to Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, where Sydney Sweeney is reduced to a gigantic pair of breasts bursting through the windows of a building. Just massive boobs, and it goes on for a while. And also La La Land, where Sydney performs a monologue with such conviction it had Twitter calling it a top-tier performance that would be deserving of an Emmy. No, someone said Euphoria is either acting for high schoolers or the best performances of the year. Listen, I'm gonna respectfully disagree. I was mad at it, but top tier, award worthy. But dare I say, Sydney is getting both the shit and the best end of this stick. Like, she's routinely humiliated, reduced to a walking hot body to be sexualized and exploited, but she also gets to play the funniest character, a pouty, brain-dead hot bimbo who wants money and speaks like a baby to seduce men. And now we pretty much have two storylines dominating the season. On one hand, we have Cassie, which includes Nate, Lexi, and Maddie, the camp, unserious, exploitative side. And we have Rue's story, which includes Jules and Maddie, and this is where we experiment with a genre, with forces beyond the law. And I'm honestly enjoying this side quite a lot. It feels very removed from the world of Euphoria, like they're actually trying to tell a story that isn't for high school kids. Reminds me of a Spanish show called Sky Rojo, where a group of trafficked women escape a club and then they're hunted down by the crime organization that owns the club, and it's really fun. Also, Zendaya keeps securing her Emmy come award season. Like, I can already see her name on it. Looks good. And then the episode ends on a genuine cliffhanger. So stay until the end. This is a threat. Also, another threat, go ahead down below and subscribe so we can get to 1 million subscribers. But also, once you do it, you will feel so much better and look so much better too. The episode's intro is about Cassie. Within 24 hours of her getting tagged on Brandon's picture, she had 17,000 followers. Wow. And even though she'll never admit it, Nate going broke has allowed her to live her dream. It's always interesting that Sam considers this to be Cassie's dream, like girls grow up objectified by men, sexualized and exploited and controlled, and the goal in their minds is to do it online. If all the men in my hometown wanted me naked and them, surely men on the internet will want the same. And I need to capitalize on that because the only value that I possess as a woman is my body and how much men want to use it, abuse it, look at it, dream of it, you name it, she'll do it. What follows is a montage of Maddie working her to the bone, and we get a general idea of what she does on OnlyFans. She does sexy videos where she sucks on her little piggies. Sam has a foot fetish, pass the message. She does custom immersive experience videos where it sounds like she's next to you, you know, speaking in your ear, whispering your name, which is apparently the most requested type of video she gets. Men just want to hear her say their names. Robert, Danny, Samuel, take a writing class, sweetie. She also rubs it on her body part so you can feel like you're with her, smacking your ear against her breast. She masturbates and sells her panties. She gives jerking off instructions, humiliates those with humiliation fetishes. Sam has a humiliation fetish, pass the message.
Let me see you play with your tiny little penis.
Sam, I think she wants to talk to you. Something about a tiny microscopic penis stinking up the room. Someone also pays her $700 to fart in a jar. And you know what she says?
I'm not gonna fart in a jar.
That's where Cassie draws the line. At farting in a jar, but Maddie will do it for her. And they will never know the difference. $700 to fart in a jar, I'll vomit. And before you know it, she hits 50,000 subscribers. And that's when Maddie starts cranking up her appearances. Cassie goes on a podcast tour where she defends men because men are tired of being treated as second-class citizens. And then someone says, you sound like a Democrat. And she says,
I'm not retired.
If anything, this should have been Cassie going on a podcast full of men telling her that she's a whore and that she's worthless for sleeping with so many men, and her trying to defend herself and saying, well, men are paying for it and I'm making a lot of money. But instead, Sam went with the alternative where a woman goes on podcasts to humiliate herself. So he went down the Bonnie Blue route, but Bonnie Blue was doing some real freaky shit. Right? Is Cassie gonna do them? And the funny thing is, the angrier the idiots get, the more money Cassie makes. Her career keeps getting bigger and bigger, and the show illustrates that point with increasingly bigger dildos that Cassie supposedly uses on herself. And they also illustrate that point when Cassie turns into a 50-foot woman, walks downtown, and presses her big chest against the windows of a building where one of her clients is once again jerking it off to Cassie. And then she gets on her knees. Behind her is a city on fire because she is taking over Hollywood. And I quite enjoyed the 50-foot woman experience. I like that they did it all practically. They built like sets around Cassie. And once again, the technical level of the show is so good. It really makes me want to pay for some writing classes for Sam. No CGI, no fake fucking explosions. We have a little helicopter toy, and then Cassie turns and her hair smacks the helicopter. I long for movies to creatively make everything in practical effects. It adds whimsy.
Everybody likes whimsy.
At this point, Cassie is still friends with Brandon, the guy who's got 20 million followers, though in this episode they say it's 30. Okay. Yeah. Brandon then reveals to Cassie that Maddie's not a manager, she's a manager's assistant, and invites her to move into the house because they have the resources and the following to take Cassie's career to the next level. She'll be set for life. He also says they have a professional team of videographers, photographers, editors, and it just cuts to a random guy filming a group of people doing a TikTok dance. Those are the videographers, just a friend holding a phone. But Cassie is tempted. And you're probably wondering, wait a minute, where's Nate in all of this? Where's her husband? Well, Nate is rotting in a pile of his own garbage, as he should. Cassie's still sending him money, and when Maddie finds out that she wired him $35,000, she says, you need to cut him loose right now, because otherwise he's going to be entitled to 50% of everything that you make. And he's just being nice to you because he's no longer a breadwinner. He is a bread loser. Maddie, scream it into the mic.
He's a bread loser.
Yeah! Especially because her career is about to explode. So Cassie speaks to Nate about Brandon's proposal to move in and to do content with the house. And Nate is all for it, but like he is genuinely excited. First, he gushes over how proud he is of Cassie, that he's been watching all of her videos and she's doing amazing, sweetie, and then tells her that she should 100% move in with Brandon, that being with Brandon would be a great career move. Nate even tells her a video with Brandon would do great. And Cassie says, oh no, he's not into porn. And he says, no, not a porn video, Cassie, like an erotic video. Like you can get into a bathtub with Brandon and then like pretend that you're in a relationship. Like that would be so cool, Cassie. Ah! Nate's a cuck. Nate is a cuck. The cuckification of Nate. Sorry. And then he tells her he loves her, and asks her to wire him some more money. Of course, Nate would be all for the idea as soon as he starts seeing that money hitting his bank account. Then it's like, oh, wow, baby, you are doing so well. Go f more men. Film it. I'll film it. I'll be in the corner just filming. I won't even touch myself. Cuck! How quick did he go from you're a prostitute to I'm so proud of you, baby? So Cassie puts on her big girl panties and signs a contract and then calls Maddie. She needs to talk to her. She goes to Maddie's place for the very first time and realizes that Maddie has lied quite extensively about her resume and about her financial means, but Maddie's completely unfazed. She's like, you caught me. And this is a very funny interaction because Cassie walks in there wanting to be the big boss lady, but Maddie is so unbothered that she doesn't give her the reaction that she wants. And the more Maddie doesn't give her the reaction, the more Cassie starts spiraling and becoming more insecure. And it's so funny because Cassie's really struggling. She's like, this is really hard for me. And Maddie's like, and? Like, what about it? Hurry up, I got things to do. She finally says she has to move on. And Maddie says, okay, then picks up her phone. Hi, this is Madeline Perez. I'm calling about the LA Nights audition with Cassie. Yeah, the one with Dylan. I'm gonna have to cancel that. And Cassie, Maddie, my head is swirling and I'm new to this, and this definitely changes things. So she changes her mind and Maddie pulls up a contract and Cassie signs it. Now, Cassie signing a second contract, I'm sure that's gonna come back in the future to fuck her over, but How iconic is it that Cassie walks in there thinking she's the boss, and Maddie literally goes from getting fired to locking her down in a contract. And guess what? Maddie didn't even have an audition for LA Knights yet. So she goes to Lexi, and Lexi's like, no, I'm not going to do that just because she's my sister. She has no credentials, qualifications. And, and Maddie says, you want to make me an enemy? Like Lexi, poor girl. First of all, she says in the episode that she's been working 15 to 17 hours a day, 7 days a week for God knows how long. Where are her rewards? Nowhere to be seen. Like Lexi just exists to further the plot of everybody else. She was there so Jules could be rejected for her art. She's now there so Cassie can make a breakthrough into the mainstream. What are they gonna give Lexi other than headaches and a lot of fucking trauma from having a group of friends that all they do is fucking do drugs? It's gotta be tough to be Lexi. Lexi, justice for Lexi. Hashtag pass it on. Go for it. So Cassie auditions, and she does a monologue by Shakespeare from Antony and Cleopatra. Like, Cassie doing a Shakespeare by... Does that really make sense with her character? No. Does it happen? Yes. Did people like it? Hell yeah, they were raving about it online. The LA Knights team watched her audition because she made sure to mention that she was Lexi's sister and that Lexi had highly recommended her for the job applicant role. And the consensus of the team is if she can do Shakespeare, she can do LA Knights. So Cassie is hired for LA Knights for TV. And that is how easy it is, really. That's it. And Lexi calls her the most self-absorbed narcissistic person that she's ever met. Good for you, Lexi. Cassie then wires $30K to Nate, who was still rotting in a pile of his own garbage, and he celebrates with a little dance in the middle of his slob. This is probably another reference to a movie, but I didn't catch it, so if anyone recognizes it, let me know. But as he's dancing, the big guy who cut off his toe comes back, chases Nate, beats him up, pulls the toe out, the one that's been freshly sewn back to his foot, and then cuts his finger. You know, the one holding his wedding ring, gone. Like, this man cannot catch a fucking break, and I'm loving it. Like, it's... I'm not even mad anymore that he turned into a bitch that everybody slaps around. I want him to be slapped around. It's karma. This is cosmic karma. Yes! So that's it for Cassie and Nate this episode, but rest assured, they will be back next week, and it looks like it's going to be promising and juicy. And now on Rue's side of the story. Alamo is incredibly upset over the robbery and is blaming the money manager for even opening the safe in the first place. And Bishop makes a very interesting point. A man's loyalty is worth nothing if it stops the moment that he fears for his life. Spitting bars. And last week I mentioned that I thought Bishop might be an undercover cop, but after watching this week's episode, I don't think that anymore. Is he a little quirky? Yeah. Is he a little weird? For sure. But he does tell Rue, ever since you showed up, shit's been going wrong everywhere, and then says that she gives him the heebie-jeebies. So keep an eye on Bishop and another eye on Alamo. And Rue is then tasked with mapping out Laurie's estate and Laurie's house. And it's alluded they stole something more valuable than money, but it's never confirmed whether it's like an actual thing that they need for the business or a metaphor for the robbers violating Alamo's manhood or like status as the big boss. Because we know by now that Alamo hates being humiliated or hates being portrayed as weak or perceived as weak. But at the same time, he's not really doing much to change our minds. Like, his club got robbed and he still hasn't gone to Laurie and killed everyone. And I thought these were like bad guys, like dangerous people that would absolutely murder your entire bloodline over some stupid like that. Rue then visits Jules, and these two are just getting crumbs of a storyline together. Jules says that Rue does this a lot. She comes over, hangs out, but she looks like she wants to say something and never does. And then starts this little game of, do you want to kiss me? And after a bit of a back and forth, Jules tells Rue, if you want me to be yours, make me yours. And then it cuts to Jules moaning really loudly. And I thought, whoa, let's celebrate. They finally got it on. But no. It's just Jules getting absolutely back-rammed by the surgeon. The surgeon then finds Rue's underwear and assumes it's from a man because Rue kind of dresses like a dude and threatens to kick Jules out because he doesn't want to get an STD, but Jules promises that it's nothing like that. It's just a high school friend of hers. But Jules is left visibly distressed. Is she slowly realizing that he doesn't love her? Is she slowly realizing that she's just an object for him to use whenever he wants? Is she slowly realizing that this is not the life for her? I don't know. Like, they give Jules nothing to work with as well, so that's all the Jules we get. Yup. Now, remember last episode when Rue framed Rosalia with drugs because Rosalia accused her of being a snitch? Well, after the whole robbery thing, Rue kind of forgot that she did that, but she didn't. And she finds the drugs in her locker and goes straight to Alamo. And it seems like she's the only one who's not afraid to talk to Alamo like she would talk to a friend of hers. She walks in there and she's like, yo, Rue is trying to frame me, that puta. She is a snitch. She was asking Kitty if she's being forced to do this, this, and that. Why would you ask that if you weren't a snitch? And that gets Alamo's mind going. And you can tell the writing is really lazy and bad because it only now occurs to them that Rue didn't recognize their voices during the robbery. Alamo even says to Bishop, didn't you say Rue lived with them? Like, hiring Rue, who was a part of Laurie's crew, wasn't the entire fucking context in which you met Rue. What do you mean? Did he forget how he met Rue? Did he forget why he hired her? Like, what? It's only occurring to them now, days and days later, to question what happened in that robbery. Don't piss me off. Like, is Alamo a big gangster or not? This is where... Like, it's lazy. It's lazy and dumb. Nonetheless, Alamo is now super suspicious, so he pays Rue a visit. Rue is currently with Maddie. They're at a diner, and Maddie is telling her that she has hit pure harmony. That means that nothing phases her anymore. You know, Cassie backstabbing her, not backstabbing her, going against her, not going against her. It's all good. It's all the same. And that leads me to believe that Maddie isn't actually plotting revenge against Cassie. She's not orchestrating her downfall. She's actually just trying to make money. And I respect that. Maddie, you're a real one. And then Alamo arrives. Positives, Rue didn't voluntarily introduce them. Negatives, Alamo now knows Maddie. Damn. He gets there, and after some chit-chat, he tells Rue to get a ride with the other guys and that he's gonna stay and keep Maddie company. It's the clashing of two very different worlds, you know, the world of human sex trafficking and the world of OnlyFans. The glamorous side of the coin meets the ugly side of the coin. What's gonna happen? Stay tuned. See, this is more interesting because this actually, like, explores the two sides of the coin rather than it just being like glamorous making $1 million a month and that's it. Like, let's get into some real shit. So Rue gets a ride back to the compound, and in the middle of the field they order her to dig a hole as deep as her neck. And when she's finished, they bury her all the way to the neck. Meanwhile, Alamo and Maddie talk business. Maddie explains that Cassie could be bringing in $1 million a month soon, and she takes a 15% cut. And Alamo's definitely interested because he's got plenty of women. But Maddie says, you've got quantity. That's stopping you from finding quality. So Alamo proposes a little business venture. He will supply Maddie with some girls. She does the rinse and repeat process that she's done with Cassie. Alamo takes 15%, Maddie takes another 15%. Fuck. It sounds like a good business venture, right? When you put it like that. So they go to his sleazy bar. Silver slipper, fully nude, always lewd. Classy. And Maddie looks at the women, or as Alamo would call them, inventory. Maddie sees Rosalia's neck brace and clocks it straight away. Insurance fraud. Real recognizes real. Yes! Real recognizes real. Yes! That was the gayest thing I did. So she selects Kitty. Kitty likes to dance from last episode, and Rosalia, of course. And then the episode ends on a cliffhanger. Rue is buried all the way to her neck. Alamo's riding down on his horse, headed towards Rue, swinging a cricket bat. And just before a potential hit, it ends. And in next week's preview, we don't see Rue, so we really don't know what's happened to her. But I think she'll still be alive. My theory is that Alamo is going to spare her now that he's gone into this new business venture that he needs to foster, and Rue is friends with Maddie. I don't know. I feel like he's gonna give her another chance. Yet another. But from next week's preview, it seems like Maddie is also gonna have a bit of a reality check when she realizes that Alamo's calling the shots, and if Alamo's calling the shots, it's not voluntary anymore. It's gonna turn into coercion and threat of life very quickly. But we have 3 episodes left. Put in the comments down below your predictions for the rest of the season. I'm now excited. Now I'm like curious because now we're getting some good stuff. It's getting there. You know, I think it's getting there slowly. At least Rue's side of the story, it has me on the edge of my seat. Just wish that Alamo was written just a little bit less of a cliche and more like a real actual threatening person. Because everything he says is just like a grandstanding cliche. Everything is in riddles and everything has to do with like his manhood and being a man and being respected. But like he's not doing much to earn that respect. Like at all. We haven't seen Alamo really do nothing. Reminds me of this character in a TV show, Citadel. Guys, I might make a video on Citadel because it's the most ridiculous spy show ever and it cost over $300 million. But it reminds me of a character in that show where everything is just like a statement, like an ominous announcement. And it's like, yo, just talk to people like they're people. But I guess we'll see next week. And if you don't want to miss it, go ahead and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I told you, you will look and feel so much better after. We also do other videos, by the way, so go check those out. But yeah, until next time, stay safe, stay sane, stay stupid, and stay stuttering. Bye, guys. Diz-me no meu olhar triste, se a memória existe.